What's up? I want to talk about an interesting philosophy about taste and nutrition. And it's not even interesting, it's actually fascinating. And it's part of the reason why I feel like I'm one of the luckiest people in the world. You see, I got to marry two of my passions together. Ultimate foodie, love food, love the experience, love taste, exploring that in the deepest level possible. And I'm also obsessed with nutrition. The idea that we can eat certain foods and it allows us to thrive, feel healthier, grow stronger, grow younger. You know, the fountain of youth, you know, the key to longevity is in the foods and the habits that we do on a daily basis. Over time, your taste buds adapt and evolve. When I was a kid, I just like you, I probably did not like a lot of the foods that were out there. There's some foods that were too bitter, did not like them. Over time, my mom gave me the opportunity to try to spice my foods up, play around in the kitchen, make my own special sauce, and that led me down a road of training my taste buds to like the foods that were going to provide me with the benefits. So these spices that are not just providing an instant gratification, that feeling of tasting good, do so much more. Most of these spices are things like herbs that have been around for years that have tons of medicinal benefits. So you have spices that are going to help manage and control your glucose and your blood sugar, and that's going to help your weight control. It's going to help your hormones. Fiber that's going to help keep you full. So you don't need this magic get skinny quick pill. In reality, use these spices that taste good to add to the foods that nourish us, that give us the fiber, that fill us up. Because the food that we eat does not just turn on and off our hunger signal based on some sort of volume or calories. We know calories are not created equal. The food that we eat provides us with a mineral balance, and that gives us satisfaction. So by eating these great foods that are healthy, we got sustained satisfaction. These healthy foods can be craveable if you're using the right types of spices. So the idea here is we have certain foods that carry superpowers for our health. We're not talking about foods that just are okay for you, good for you. These are foods that truly make you healthier, make your body thrive. And so I get excited about that, and I think, how can I include as much of these foods in my meals as possible? And so it makes this whole journey extremely enjoyable. When you look at a recipe, you now break down the ingredients and think, what does this have to offer me? Whether it's spices that are anti-inflammatory or help with digestion, or help with your immune system, or are going to help with recovering from exercise. This whole idea is fascinating, that we can include certain foods and our bodies will get healthier. And it goes the same for the opposite. We eat certain foods that literally make us less healthy, and they drain our energy and so on. So, they say the interesting person wants to know if something works, and the fascinating person or fascinated person wants to know how it works. And my goal is to get people initially interested and to spark your interest playing around with certain flavors and say, hey, this really can taste good. And that takes that experience of playing around. Not anybody or everybody is born to cook. It's like an art. It's a skill that takes work. You're not just a talented cook. It takes skill from working on it over and over again. You got to take pride playing around with some different dishes, burning them, messing them up. But take pride in that overall. You'll discover that when you start spicing foods the right way and discover your flavors and what your delicious is, you can start adding it to all the foods, in your meals throughout the day. So, at least 3 times per day, maybe it's just a spice that you're adding, like lemon or, something spicy or something savory, something gives you that texture that you want. You now get this great feeling, a few times throughout the day. And then it comes with no regret. It's something that actually made you healthier, so it reinforces that, and you want that feeling that much more. When you're feeling better, the side effects are great. You're in a better mood, you attract more good things around you, you're more productive, and you're more likely to continue these types of habits. Once you get these feelings from eating these foods, this feeling that lasts, it's a sustained satisfaction type of feeling, you truly do not want to go away. And that's the idea of being addicted to feeling good. So use the flavors that you love, put them on the foods that we need, and now those foods are craveable. I think that's the greatest thing in the world. So let me show you a few of my favorite spices that I use. All right, here we go. Variety is the spice of life. I'm not going to go into great detail with all these, but I will show you some of my favorites and how I use them. So like I said, I mix a lot of these spices together for the benefits of everything that I eat. It's interesting to me. I can enjoy it and savor, all of my dishes that much more. Plus, there's huge benefits. So I'm just going to talk about a few here. But apple cider vinegar, I use this in a lot of sauces and dressings. But it's going to help our bodies digest food that much better. It's very cleansing. It's been around forever. Raw apple cider vinegar. Make sure you got the good stuff with the mother at the bottom. And then I use a lot of stuff with teas. Teas have so many herbal benefits, and it doesn't have to be just the caffeine from the tea. But here's just a couple examples. Happy tea right here. It's a saffron tea with jasmine and red rooibos. And it says, some of the benefits right here: vitality, antioxidants, antidepressant, relieves anxiety, promotes a better mood. Why not eat food that gives me a better mood? Good mood food. So I'll put some tea in something like this. Or another tea right here that's got ginger and turmeric and galangal in it. Or this other tea right here that's got more rooibos, cordyceps, holy basil. So these are kind of some adaptogenic properties. And they all have a good neutral taste. It doesn't really throw anything off. And it helps everything from, tenderize the foods, just give it a little bit more moisture and flavor rather than using a bunch of oils. Citrus, lemon, lime, tons of vitamin C. Help get your fluids going in your body to help digest food a lot better and help your alkaline level in a positive way. Nutritional yeast, great cheese alternative if you're looking for that texture, but also a lot of good B vitamins. So great for vegans, vegetarians, not getting enough B vitamins in. Per tablespoon, you got 3 grams of protein, really good B vitamins, got a good cheesy, nutty flavor. Right here, just have fenugreek, right? Good for hormones, blood sugar control. Fennel, same thing. So one's got a taste of black licorice, the other one's just kind of a nutty flavor. It doesn't really throw anything off. Parsley, very cleansing for your body. And also try to get fresh herbs whenever you can. It's going to give it a lot more freshness. Plus, the taste will be better, more likely that you're going to get more of the nutrition from it. Cinnamon right there. It's it's an energetic food. It helps with circulation. Another one that helps with blood sugar. I mentioned blood sugar a lot because that's the key to a lot of our health issues. I think is glucose management and blood sugar. It's constantly going through the roof based on the foods we are eating. If we can control that, our body will be a lot happier and function more properly. I'll add things like almond butter. I got a raw almond butter right here, and I'll mix that into sauces to give it a thicker texture that I like. Plus, it's got vitamin E, it's got magnesium, good protein, good healthy fats, and then little mixes like this. Organic seasoning mix. It's just got a blend of things like onion and thyme and lemon peel, oregano, so on. Nothing bad in this, so you can kind of go crazy with these spices. Find the ones you like, add a lot of them to the food to make it enjoyable. Cilantro right there, another real cleansing, cleansing herb that's great for your liver, kidneys, cleansing everything out. Something like this. This one's a little more extreme, a little earth blend by Health Force, but it's got a real good quality cinnamon. It's got, red miso, dandelion root. So talk about cleansing properties right here. Astragalus, other adaptogenic properties. Everything is very pure right here, even some natural probiotics. I will put that in a sauce or a dressing and it just gives it a savory flavor. None of this throws the flavors off. Huge fan of turmeric. I use it fresh whenever I can, but you got turmeric powder right here. Great for your skin, great for longevity. Awesome inflammatory properties right here. Been used for years all over the place. And then sea salt right here. This is not the type of salt that is going to take your cholesterol and blood pressure through the roof. This is loaded with a lot of the trace minerals that we don't get enough of. So it's actually going to help balance out your minerals, especially if you're sweating a lot. You need to put all those minerals back into your body, especially to absorb everything that we're eating. And here's just an idea. A little batch of dressing. I used a little bit of a veggie juice that I had, threw it in here with some tea, some ginger, maybe some hemp seed. So I'm talking about a dressing right here that is giving me protein, fiber, very easy to digest. It's going to improve the digestion of my meal, and it tastes really good. Don't let that green fool you. We all need more green. So a few ideas of how I find my delicious. I love spicy things. I use a lot of cayenne, that helps with circulation and so on. But get out there, experience, play around with the flavors that you like. Find your delicious, add them to the foods that you need. Thank you for watching.